Oh, hey everybody. Welcome to the Torah Matinee Shir. Always a special edition. This one's for Sukkot. So I'm sitting in my sukkah, and fortunately I've learned the laws of sukkahs, and so I'm able to build a sukkah. And one of the rules is it can't be karka, can't be attached to the ground. But we like to use freshly cut greenery as the shkach to cover it, and that way we can make it so that we have a little bit more shade than sun. I ride around on a bike, so I don't carry walls with me. I don't have access to, walls. Also roof beams and all that stuff. So see this behind me here? This was a deadwood that was standing in the middle of this camp, and so I pulled it down yesterday with a rope system, and dragged it over here, and by cutting out the branches, I was able to prop it up in such a way that I could hold the shkach. So it looks like a tree, but it's not. I built it out of deadwood and cut branches. How cool is that? So the rule is 3 walls and the fourth but a handbreadth. So behind me I've got you know a hill, clearly 10 tefachim. To my right, I built up a wall of additional cut branches. It's not flimsy, right? You can't move it. It might rattle in the wind a little bit, but fortunately it's not windy here at Sukkot on the south coast of Big Sur. My third wall is my bike over on this side. The handbreadth is right here. It's made out of a piece of wood with more shkach. My roof is this crazy fallen tree, and so I sit under shkach. I was able to say l'shay b'sukkah. So there was a halachic question. I don't have a rav, but when it comes to eruv, we're able to count a downward facing hill as a boundary in the same way as an upward facing hill, right? So I've got the ocean in front of me, giant cliff. So can I consider that a wall for my sukkah? A falling cliff? Well, we have to look at the question of what a sukkah really is. Is that during sukkah's time, a person steps out of their permanent dwelling, and they live in a hut, and in this way they show faith in Hashem. And so the hut consists of 3 walls and a handbreadth. So this isn't the same kind of tachumin, right? It's no, not tachumin, eruvim, right? It's not. It's a different sort of thing. It's not a boundary. It is an actual wall. Why? So that we live outside of our permanent dwelling for a week, and so we show our trust in Hashem. Well, I've been living outside of a permanent dwelling for about 5 years. So for me to have sukkahs and to dwell in a sukkah, I have to actually build a permanent dwelling. It's the exact opposite of Sukkot. That for for me to dwell in a sukkah, I have to leave my tent. I have to actually sleep outdoors. But but how do I say l'shay b'sukkah? Well, I have to build a sukkah. So I had a sukkah last year. I have one this year. And so I eat my meals here. I had Shabbos here. Beautiful. Everything's beautiful. And so, l'shay b'sukkah. Because I have learning, I'm able to do it. It's the most beautiful thing. Um, a person can only live by the rules if they actually know the rules. And I have found myself in a place where I have the sufficient learning to live my life. And so it's been very interesting Yom Tovim. It's been a beautiful Yom Tovim. Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur were spent up up the creek, camping. I've just been having a beautiful experience, and I made shirim both for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. This one is about Sukkot and the very aspect of having faith in Hashem, right? Because what is Sukkot, right? Well, Sukkot, as we mentioned, it's a time when we live outdoors in order to show our faith in Hashem. Well, there's other ways that we show faith in Hashem as well. One is that you don't worry about your parnasa, that you understand that Hashem will provide for you in all ways. You'll have everything you need at all times, and there's no need to worry about these things, right? That's a futility of futilities. That to think that that Hashem won't provide for you to live your life. There is a caveat for the Jews, is that we made a deal, you know, that we have a covenant with God, that that will accept his beautiful sustenance, but there's a bit of a trade-off that we're expected to perform certain tasks, and these tasks, you know, consist of the Yom Tovim, the mitzvot, um, you know, remembering the Sabbath, observing the Sabbath, these kinds of things, you know, kosher food, a lot of communal things, you know, burying the dead, being hospitable to guests, um, visiting the sick, respect for your parents. These are all beautiful things. And because I have a framework in Judaism, because I've lived my life, you know, my whole adult life, learning Torah, um, to me, this is the basis of my character, and you know, and I live my life. So it comes to be Sukkot, you know, it comes to be Shabbos, you know. I know these things, and so you know, so it's Shabbos. I, you know, I refrain from so many different kinds of work um, while doing other kinds. Why? Because I know the rules, you know, like, and 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 I know the rules enough to apply leniencies and to extenuating circumstances and things like pikuach nefesh, you know, like these are overriding constructs under which I live my life, and I live my life constantly in Heshbon and gratitude to Hashem. Just beautiful and wonderful and good life. Sukkot, always been my favorite holiday. Why? Yom Simchatenu, right? It's the day of our rejoicing. It's the day of our happiness. And you know, translation of Hebrew is always tricky. Uh, I just love Hebrew. Simcha, you know, it's a word. Um, it's in my son's name, right? Kalev Simcha Bunim. Simcha Bunim is the name uh, of Jennifer's grandfather. He was a super important benefactor at the time when I was converted into Judaism, and may his name always be remembered with strength. He was a Levi. Um, Yisro Simcha Bunam, then, well, I should know that. Okay, so anyway, Jennifer's grandfather, Simcha Bunam. It's a Hasidic name, and I am most definitely a Chassid. Chasing, Teshuvah every moment of my life, loving my life. So it's Succot time, and so we dive in and we learn. I'm not able to dive in with a minion like I once did. I've had to accept that, and in this new year, I've just made a very firm decision that I'm just going to be happy with my place in the world. That I'm not going to wish it was different. I'm not going to pretend that my life is any different, because my life is perfect for me. It's exactly the kind of life I want. It's the life that I chose. Everything in my life has led to this point, and perfectly equipped for it, crazily skilled. The whole world is one big opportunity, and I'm constantly busy because everything I need to do is right in front of me, right in that moment. And so if I just do the thing that's in front of me, I'm always busy, and I'm rewarded amply. I have everything I need all the time. And, I mentioned one of my friends yesterday, I'm running on coffee. He says, well, you have a whole, thing of, Maxwell House up at the house. And I said, yeah, and that's, adequate. It's, AA coffee, commercial coffee, but, yeah, I could use some coffee. And so, right? So he brings me, right, Kona blend. Well, Kona. Yeah, special, like there's just so much Hawaii going on, and I love my daughter, and I'm so proud of her. My mother died. I'm Hapa Haole. I talk about that with a lot of people. The Haole part, my dad. Yom Simchatenu, the day of our rejoicing, the day of our happiness. So I need to share with you something that happened to me up here. So I'm walking in the forest, and no, I went to town, and I picked up some of my stuff, and I was totally stoked that my brown jacket, I gave it to Caleb. Somehow I got it back. It belonged to my dad. It's a wool pea coat. With a hood. It's striped lining. It's just really bitchin'. Everybody who sees it goes, God, nice coat. And I go, yeah, it was my dad's. I had another shirt, same color as this, and I found it in my stuff in PG, and grabbed it, and so I had on that too. And so I'm walking up the trail, and I'm thinking to myself, like, well, if my dad was such an asshole, why do I treasure the jacket and the shirt and another shirt and the fingernail clippers? Why do I carry these things around with me? Through 3 marriages and then off into the wilderness. Like, why? What's missing from this picture? So I got to thinking about it, and yeah, my dad was a dick, but he also was really excellent, and he did a lot of really bitchin' things for me, and he prepared me for the person that I am now, you know. Um, Excuse me for a second here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nehiyeh lidvo. So I'm walking up the forest, and I said, Dad, I wish you could see me now. You'd be so proud of me. And then I said, wow, Dad, I miss you. And then I said, I miss you, Daddy. And then I cried. The first time I cried over the death of my father. And just right now, I just felt a wave of emotion, through my body. And I miss my dad. I love my dad. I'm grateful to my dad for raising me to be this person who I am now. And now I'm 60. I love my dad now. I miss him. I wish he could see me. I think he'd be really proud. I wish I could talk to him. So it's funny, we try not to have regrets in life, but I don't know, maybe I wasted a lot of opportunities with my dad. Right? Yom Succot. Right? So how do we reach happiness in this world? How do we reach rejoicing? That we gotta let that shit go. That all there is love. We learn to be grateful. We learn that what we have is what we need, and what we need is it's it's what we want. We chase ourselves through life. At some point you gotta just sit down. You gotta just stop. And so I found my place here, for now. I'm on the south coast of Big Sur. And it's just all so incredible. And I'm sitting in my sukkah, and I'm celebrating. Um, I made it through another Yom Tov, and for the first time in my life, I prayed that God would let me live another year. I've prayed for death every single year, and that's not the story anymore. I finally learned how to live, and because I've learned how to live, check out the way I do live. All right, so so this is my sukkah, and it's built out of a crazy fallen tree, and it uses my bike as a wall, and that is how I live. So if I walk out this way, I see that. That's a pretty big, that's called the Big Sur coast, and it's wild. So I've got my tent open now because, it was full moon last night. Tried to sleep outside, it was, a hardship. I ate my meal though, and everything's good in the sukkah. Everything's good in my life. Okay, so alrighty then. So all you people who have been worried about me, I'm sorry that is the case. I've been offline a really long time. This probably won't even get posted because I don't know. I don't know. I just don't live that kind of life anymore. I live this kind of life. All right. So may you find your place in this world, and may Hashem help you to find all the beautiful and wonderful and good things that you need. And let the things that you want actually be the things you need, and have only good things in your life and in the life of everybody around you, everybody you know. I miss you. If you ever want to see me, I'm at mile marker 13. Alrighty then. Bye bye.